Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Package Tourist, hosted by yours truly, the Package Tourist and the magical mystery tour called Life, Matthew DiBiase. Tonight's guest is award-winning novelist Doc Richter. Doc lives in Helotes, Texas, not far from San Antonio. For a time, he was the president of the San Antonio Writers Guild and of the California Writers Club. He remains an active member of the Writers League of Texas. When he is not writing, Doc moderates a weekly, multi-state online critique session and is an international writing contest judge. He is the author of international thrillers Russian Bride and Olive Eye, and earlier today, Doc released his latest opus, Star of the County Down. Tonight, we will pay tribute to his writing career. Doc, welcome to the show. It's a great honor and privilege to have you here. I'd like to start by asking you, Doc, let's begin with your newest release, Star of the County Down. Can you please tell our audience all about it?
Yes, it's an Irish story that covers changing one's life, struggling for the family, and pursuing love. The story is really about perseverance, second chances, with Irish and places and customs as a backdrop.
Doc, all of your novels are international in setting. Do you yourself travel extensively to do field research for your novels?
Yes, I do. For both my novels and for pleasure, I have for a very long time. For Star of the County Down, I spent months, over 2 years in Ireland for the story. And I find it necessary you have to be in the place to understand it, smell it, feel it, so that you can relay it or make it live for the reader.
Getting back to your latest release, Star of the County Down, let's get into the main characters, the male and female characters. Please tell our audience about them.
The primary character is Sam Miller, who is a retired Marine who is struggling to work after the pandemic and finds that he can work as a tall crane operator in Ireland because England has it was in the process of leaving the European Union, so all the major companies were moving to Ireland, primarily Dublin, to avoid the taxes to the continent. The other antagonist is a famous Irish singer, and her drive is to make the international scene. They end up having a very unlikely love affair and have to go their separate ways at some point. And meanwhile, Sam focuses on earning as much as possible to reclaim his children and build a life for himself that's not related to being in the Marines.
Okay. Doc, how autobiographical are your novels? Are there any elements from your own life that you put into your characters?
With one exception, no. And that exception is a novel that will come out early in 2026 called Gandy Dancer.
Ooh.
And it's a story of a teenager who manually lays railroad track. I was actually a Gandy Dancer when I was 17 and 18 years old.
Wow.
And but generally for the character development, there are elements of the thousands of people I've known that go into my characters. I was a global information technology and security executive, and have managed many thousand people around the globe.
Okay. Now, Doc, as a novelist, how difficult is it to develop characters and their backgrounds? How great a challenge is that, Doc?
Actually, for me, it's easy, and it's one of the thoroughly enjoyable things about the process. I love the character development. I believe the key is not over-describing. There needs to be sufficient detail for the reader to create their own image, but no more, which is the same for settings and locations. A key for character development is that the characters fit the overall jigsaw puzzle of the story. So all the characters either fit together or clash. Everyone has their own strengths, weaknesses, foibles, tics, and biases, and the story brings those out. So I thoroughly enjoy the process of developing characters. Quite frankly, it's fun.
Okay, you talk about the easy part about it. Okay, Doc, what is the most difficult aspect of being a novelist? What is the greatest challenge that being a novelist brings to you?
I've been a novelist for a long, long time and a writer for a long time. My greatest challenge used to be time to write. So I set up a routine where I would write 5 pages each day, same time, same place. That constraint is now resolved, which allows me to write 10 to 12 hours per day, which is wonderful from my perspective. For most novelists, I think the greatest challenge is juggling family, commitments, life, and writing. My advice is for the writer to set a specific time and place to write each day and stick to that schedule as time allows. Clearly, like during the holidays, that type of thing, it may not be applicable, but you try to stick to the schedule. And I think back to Margaret Mitchell, who wrote Gone with the Wind. She wrote 1 page a day.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote, 1 page a day. And over time, she developed Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, if you just do a page a day at the end of one calendar year, you got 365 pages. That's over 100,000 words. I mean, that's quite a substantial book in its own right, when you think about it. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's my little metaphor, too. That's what I would tell people, about writing. If you just do one a day, you at the end of a year, you got a book already there and all that. Getting back, in 2 of your works, the male hero either has a military or intelligence background. Did you yourself ever serve in the military or in the intelligence field?
No, I did not. However, I have significant direct access to military intelligence and combat information.
Ooh, okay. Could you elaborate on that, or no, you're not at liberty to discuss it? I can elaborate on it. That's not a problem. I have one son who is in the Navy. I have another twin. His twin is an officer in the Army. Ooh.
Here in San Antonio area, they have a major intelligence facility. My neighbors are either retired military or currently serve, and some of them have been through the combat scenes in the Olive Eye story. So I have easy access to it. That's never been a problem for me.
Okay. Doc, when examining your works, I'm struck by the common themes of preserving family or protecting family or even avenging family. Is that an accurate interpretation of your works? If so, could you elaborate on that subject for our audience?
Yes, it is accurate. My stories typically put ordinary people in very difficult situations where they have to deal with things that they would not normally have to deal with. And part of that struggle that they end up with is maintaining their humanity while they go through and do what they need to do to protect their family.
Yeah, I'm struck by that. That's a common theme in all 3 of your novels. It's always the act of overcoming. I mean, do you relate to that? Life is a series of things to be overcome?
Yes, and it's the same with the book Candy Dancer. 2 additional ones we'll talk about later do not relate to that.
Okay. I'm curious, since you're writing thrillers, has Hollywood ever reached out to you, or have you ever reached out to Hollywood to translate any of your works into like a movie or TV or a streaming series? Has that ever happened?
No, I have not. No, I have not. Not yet.
Okay.
I wanted to get this third book out this year and focus on that.
Okay. Doc, please tell our listeners about Russian Bride. That's your first work, correct? And if so,
actually, it's not.
Oh, really? What was your first work?
Well, it was. I've written 8 novels.
Oh.
In total, Russian Bride was not the first, but was the first of 3 that have been published this year.
Oh, okay.
The story is about a Silicon Valley software executive, Jake Wilder, who remains a bit of a geek. He travels to Moscow where he meets and falls in love with a beautiful Russian woman, Natalia Melnikova, who wants to immigrate to the U.S. Unbeknownst to Jake, Natalia was forced by the Russian mob to conceal the existence of her son, who was kidnapped by the Bratva after she leaves for America. The boy was used to blackmail Natalia to do what the Bratva wanted. After Jake and Natalia married, she was forced to have her name legally on his estate and retirement documents. And she figures out the Russians plan to murder Jake and take his money for the return of her son. Jake discovers the plot, and the pair scheme to foil the mobsters and retrieve her boy.
Okay. Yeah, I want to apologize.
It's a fun story for me.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I actually knew numerous people that had married Russian wives, and quite successfully.
Yeah, but it could be. I've read some things in art. It can also be a bit of a dodgy enterprise too, in some ways.
Oh, it can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Okay.
Certainly. But I spent several months in Moscow in wintertime. Met with numerous ladies who wanted to emigrate, and got their firsthand view, and then also the taste of the locale. And their primary feeling was that things were so bad they wanted out. For example, a doctor only made $50 a month. They can make more money as a hotel desk clerk.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Jeez.
And so they wanted out, and heard that, keep hearing that American males are good to their women. They take care of them, versus the men they have to deal with there in Russia itself.
Yeah. Hey, America, land of the free, man. Hey, when you think about it, yeah. Okay, let's talk.
Yeah, and it's amazing, of all the people that I've known, and we're talking about dozens that I've known who have married Russian wives, not a single one was divorced or separated.
Wow. Okay.
Every single one was a successful marriage.
Okay. Well, good for them, man. God bless them. Okay. Let's talk about your other novel, Olive Eye. What's the story all about? Let's talk about the characters, Doc.
Sure. Olive Eye is about a United Nations atomic weapons inspector, Dr. Alan Glass, who inadvertently discovers a North Korean-Iraqi plot to exchange dirty bomb material for oil, and kills an Iraqi officer in self-defense. So that's what starts him down the rabbit hole. Because the dead man was a nephew of one of Saddam's inner circle, Iraqi orders were issued to kill Dr. Glass, his wife and daughter, parents, and his wife's family.
Ouch.
They succeeded, but missed killing Adam.
Jeez.
Helped initially by the French because of assistance to the French spy Elise Saint-Marin, Alan vows to take retribution, really, against all those involved. He uses several identities across multiple cities, countries, and through Iraqi battles in the Second Iraq War.
Wow.
In the process of evening the score, so to speak, Alan stumbles on a plot to expose an enormous dirty bomb in an American city. The plot is aided by a group within the CIA to justify further Middle Eastern conflict, and he fights to end the threat. So the key is achieving his retribution, but becomes a race, literally, to stop the detonation.
Wow. Now, I apologize. I thought you had only written 3 novels because I was looking at your website, Doc, and all I saw were the 3 books. Now, when did your very first novel came out? You said you've written 8 books. When was your debut? When did you make your literary debut? What year?
Okay. I wrote a small book many years ago that was published. Most of what I've written has not been published, nor will it be.
Oh.
And I will say that because of my learning curve.
Okay.
There are stories that people have enjoyed the reads, but I don't think they're fit for prime time reading.
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about yourself now. Doc, where were you born and raised?
I was born on a ranch in Northern California, and we had multiple farms and ranches through Northern California up into Oregon, and it was absolutely a fantastic way to grow up as a kid. I had my chores to do morning and night, but absolute outdoor freedom after that for horseback riding, fishing, swimming, whatever I wanted to do. Though when I was 7 years old, I vowed I would be the first in our family to go to college.
Ooh.
Because ranching is not how I wanted to spend my life.
Okay.
So I made that decision at a very early age.
Now, the town where you grew up in Northern California, is that close to San Francisco or Sacramento?
It's about 70 miles north of Sacramento, a place called Oroville.
Okay.
Which has its fame now from the Oroville Dam, the Oroville Reservoir, which is the headwaters of the California Water Project.
Okay. So where'd you go to college, Doc?
Well, I want to insert one thing. To get money for college, I did work for months as a gandy dancer.
Aha.
Again, a person who manually lays railroad track. I needed money for college. I attended UC Berkeley to become a physicist. I received my master's degree from California State University, Chico. I earned my MBA from Humboldt State University and received my PhD from Arizona.
Wow. Okay. What led you?
For a guy that doesn't care for college, I've had for school, I've had a lot of it.
Wow. Amazing. Fantastic. Doc, what led you to become a novelist?
Actually, nothing, because it was always a burning drive inside of me. It was, there was no decision, or I was not led to become a novelist. It's just something I had to do.
Okay. Doc, whenever I interview an author, I always love to ask the standard question. When you were growing up, who were your favorite authors? And of those favorite authors, did any of them light the spark inside you to become a writer or perhaps influence your writing style? Who did you love to read growing up and then later in school?
I've always had a very eclectic reading thirst and been a voracious reader since I was a child. My favorite authors include John Steinbeck, Patrick O'Brien, Margaret Atwood, Michael Connelly, Stephen King, Dean Koontz, John LeClaire, and C.J. Box. And I picked up writing ideas, if you will, from all of them.
Okay.
I have several thousand books on my bookshelf here in my office.
Okay. Do you always see yourself writing novels and thrillers? Have you ever thought about taking on other genres, or you're going to keep to international thrillers?
I'll tend to keep to themes where, like you said before, it's really about a person thrown into unusual circumstances to preserve their family. And so I will travel wherever I need to go. For example, for Gandhi Dancer, I traveled to Alaska 7 times. It's one of my favorite favorite domestic places. And again, the background is key.
Okay. Please tell our audience, where can readers find your books? Do you have a website?
Yes, it's very simple, DocRichter.com.
Okay.
DocRichter.com. And that has links directly to Amazon.
Okay. Now, you say your next book project is called Gandhi Dancer and all that? Can we talk about that?
Yeah. And one other thing on Star of the County Down, if I may, because it's an Irish story, I'm also currently planning a direct sales in Ireland for that book.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So, yeah, Gandhi Dancer will be released early in 2026. It's in final edit review now. And basically, it's a coming-of-age story during World War I in Alaska with a murder mystery woven through the book.
Okay.
So it's about a young man who becomes a Gandhi dancer, but there's horrid murders taking place. And as they try to figure out who and when and where the sky will strike.
Oh, wow. Geez. A murder mystery. Okay. Doc, question. Are your books self-published or are they conventionally published?
A hybrid. I use Atmosphere Press.
Okay. Doc, I want to thank you so much for appearing on my show, and I would love to have you on again. You know, when you promote your future works. Okay, so please keep me posted. All right.
I will, and thank you so much for the opportunity, and I enjoyed talking with you.
It's a great honor, pleasure, Doc, and please have a wonderful Christmas holiday season.
You as well.
Take care, and God bless you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for next week's show, where I'll be interviewing author Michelle Petties. Thank you, and good night.